Hi, Jen here with the National Weather Service in Missoula, and I have your planning briefing for Sunday, July 26th. So we have an active week ahead. A few of the highlights include hot temperatures really continuing for much of this week. We're going to be experiencing some pretty low relative humidities with strengthening thermal belts, especially for the first part of the week, Monday into Tuesday. There will be increasing threat of thunderstorms in that Tuesday through Thursday timeframe, followed by a potential ridge breakdown for Friday. So you can see there's going to be a lot of activity going on. As we get out towards the weekend, it's looking like a return to more normal temperatures for this time of year, but possibly some breezy winds. So here's a look at the current water vapor imagery across the northern hemisphere. And a couple features that I'll point out to you, we have this large scale ridge of high pressure. You can see these yellow, orange, and red colors. That's representing really dry air in the atmosphere. So that's really what's going to be driving the heat and the dry conditions here for the first part of the week. Another thing I'll point out is this trough of low pressure kind of moving through the Gulf of Alaska. With time, our flow is going to become more southwesterly, so we're going to start seeing a little bit more influence from this feature, especially by the end of the week, as I talked about that breakdown of the ridge pattern. Also, you'll see our Hurricane Douglas here headed towards Hawaii, and we've also got Tropical Storm Hannah that's moving into Mexico. The main reason I want to point out those features is just that anytime we have a lot of tropical activity, at times that can really start making our models behave chaotically. So particularly in the longer range portions of the forecast, there may be some changeability to some of the things that we're looking at. So just something to keep in mind as we look way out there in the longer term. Confidence levels in the forecast may drop off a bit. So looking at the forecast for Monday, I mentioned that ridge of high pressure. It really ends up centered over the region on Monday. So that's looking like our warmest and driest day. We'll be looking at temperatures running anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees above normal for this time of year. So not record-breaking heat. It's more of a typical heat wave for this time of year. But nevertheless, it will be warm and dry and likely some of the warmest temperatures we've seen this summer. There is a threat of seeing a few isolated thunderstorms across the Beaverhead Deer Lodge. And also want to point out, along with the low relative humidities that we'll be experiencing, our inversions will really be strengthening during this time frame as well. So those mid-slopes and ridges will be seeing poor RH recoveries. Here's just a look to give you a feel for what high temperatures and minimum RHs are going to look like on Monday. You'll see many valleys across western Montana are going to be reaching well into the 90s, with some of the lower valleys in Idaho reaching into the hundreds, and we'll be looking at RHs in the teens. So pretty warm, pretty dry day. And then I mentioned that threat of some lightning across the Beaverhead Deer Lodge. This is the probability of cloud-to-ground lightning on Monday afternoon and evening. And so this is the probability of lightning within a roughly 10-mile radius of any particular point. So you'll see it's mainly in those southern portions of the Beaverhead Deer Lodge and then up towards Butte, maybe southern portions of the Bitterroot National Forest as well, but those chances overall look pretty low. Pretty isolated coverage is what we'll be looking at for tomorrow. As we move into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we start getting a little bit more of a southwesterly flow aloft. You'll see the ridge axis moves off into more eastern Montana, and it pushes more of a southwesterly flow into north central Idaho and western Montana. So that's going to open up the door to some monsoonal moisture surges. Will continue to be warm. Temperatures will likely cool a few degrees just due to increased cloud cover, but it's still going to be a little bit above normal through this whole time frame. RHs will see a slight improvement as well, especially in the southern zone, so the Beaverhead Deer Lodge, the Bitterroot, the Clear Nez. The further north you go, the drier it will continue to be. And with that, those poor RH recoveries will continue, especially across northwest Montana during the nighttime. Tuesday is looking like the most active day thunderstorm-wise, but every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, is going to have a chance of seeing some storms. While we are getting increased moisture with this, it's not looking as wet as the monsoonal moisture that we had last week. So storms are really probably going to trend to be a little bit more on the drier side. We'll have a mix of some wet and dry storms, but it definitely doesn't look as wet as what we had last week. And with that, there's going to be some times of some potential nocturnal or nighttime thunderstorms, particularly Monday night and Tuesday night. So here's the Tuesday probability of lightning. I mentioned this looks like the most active day thunderstorm-wise. You'll see the highest probability of cloud-to-ground lightning within a 10-mile radius is across the Beaverhead Deer Lodge Forest, where we're looking at anywhere from 60 to 70% probability. It does taper off pretty quickly as you move to the north and the west, and by the time you get up to the Lolo National Forest, it's a pretty minimal chance. So really it looks like mainly going to be affecting the Beaverhead Deer Lodge. However, the southern portion of the Bitterroot and of the Clear Nez could also see some lightning on Tuesday. As we get into Wednesday, you'll see the overall probabilities are a little bit lower, but it is shifted a little bit further north. So Wednesday looks like the most likely day to see a little bit more widespread scattered coverage of thunderstorms. You'll see Beaverhead Deer Lodge is still looking at a 30 to 50% probability of cloud-to-ground lightning, and then that chance of about 30% spreads up into the Lolo National Forest. I mentioned on Friday we're going to get into a potential scenario where we see a breakdown of the ridge pattern. So this could be a interesting day fire weather-wise. It looks like it's going to be hot and dry. And with that, we're expecting to see some increasing breezy winds, especially in the afternoon, and potentially some high Haines values. So depending on what happens this week with lightning and any new potential ignitions, this could be a day where some of those really start to come to life and show themselves. The 6 to 10 day outlook is looking overall like it's going to be slightly cooler, westerly flow, so we could continue to see some breezy conditions. Overall, that kind of pattern would be pretty dry, which would also mean the likelihood of any new thunderstorms would be pretty low. And temperature-wise, the further west you are, the more likely chance you have of near normal temperatures, with a trend towards maybe above normal temperatures the further east you go. Here's our weather threat matrix for the week. You'll see it's very colorful, kind of highlighting some of those main periods of impact. Tuesday, we have the thunderstorms across southwest Montana. Wednesday, we highlighted in orange just because the coverage gets a little bit more widespread. And again, any thunderstorms that do develop likely won't have a ton of moisture with them. And then Friday's highlighted for that breakdown of the ridge. So that's all I have for today's briefing. We'll be back with you on Tuesday for further updates. And in the meantime, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. Thanks and have a great day.